The good news is, if you're taking the LSAT in October, there's going to be less material for you to study. Today, I'm going to share with you what I would personally do if I wanted to score 175 on the LSAT in October 2024 or beyond. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I personally increased my LSAT score from a 152 to a 175 on LSAT test day, and I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005. Today, I'm going to share with you my laser approach to LSAT prep, which I use to help my students create their personalized day-by-day study plans. LASER is an acronym standing for Learning, Accuracy, Sections, Exams, and Review. The first phase, L for Learning, is when you're getting a strong foundation in the LSAT, the different sections, and the different question types. This could come from reading one of those 500-page LSAT prep phone books. This could involve watching short course lesson videos to get a solid overview of the different sections and the different question types. For example, there are roughly 15 different types of logical reasoning questions alone on the LSAT, and you want to get a solid understanding of how to approach each type. After getting that strong foundation, you're then moving on to the second phase, A for Accuracy, where you are drilling these questions by type, the different 15 logical reasoning question types. For example, I'd recommend focusing on the most common question types to start, those being necessary assumption, inference, and flaw, then moving down the list to less common types like strengthen and weaken, and finally saving the least common types for last, like parallel reasoning, parallel flaw, and evaluate the argument. You can move on from this second phase, A for Accuracy, when you're at roughly 70% correct when on your drilling questions by type. Next, you move on to S for Sections, phase 3, doing individual timed sections to work on your pacing. And you should know here that in logical reasoning, for example, the questions are presented in a general order of difficulty, meaning they get more difficult as the section goes on. If you're aiming for a 160 or above, which I hope you are, I recommend aiming to complete the first 10 questions in roughly 10 to 12 minutes, building up a time bank that you can then apply to the more difficult questions later in the section. You should know, by the way, the last couple are slightly easier, maybe because they want to punish those who cannot complete the section and reward those who do. The most difficult questions in logical reasoning tend to be about questions 15 through 23. I would not want you to get bogged down or stuck on any of these questions because they're all worth the same. So I recommend flagging at least a couple, maybe 3 to 4 of these most difficult questions, skipping them, coming back to them later after you've already locked up the easier points. And you want to know which are the candidates you might personally want to skip. For me, I'll flag the hard science questions, the more abstract ones involving aestheticism or moral philosophy, just because I don't want to get bogged down or stuck, since again, everything is worth the same. Again, same goes for a harder parallel reasoning question because you have to read a lot more words just to get the same raw score point. So I'd recommend knowing what you don't like, knowing what you want to flag and skip and come back to later. LSAC's Law Hub is a handy flagging function for this that you'll also have available to you on LSAT test day itself. After finishing phase 3, the S for Sections, we then move on to phase 4, E for Exams and Endurance. Ideally, you want to do at least 10 full-length timed practice tests before the official exam itself, so that test day itself will feel like just another run-through. You want to properly simulate every element of test day itself, strictly timing yourself, 2 sections back-to-back, a 10-minute break, and 2 more sections back-to-back. You don't want to be fatigued at the end of section 4 just because it's section 4. And so the idea here is that you're really working on your endurance and you're not pausing the clock to go to the bathroom or get a snack, nothing like that. I'd also recommend that you don't take exams on consecutive days in the lead up to the official exam because you don't want to burn out. I recommend ideally 1 or 2 exams a week along with detailed review of those exams. And I'll get to R for review, the final phase, in just a moment. But before I do, I wanted to let you know that at LSAT Unplugged, we'll create a personalized day-by-day study plan just for you based on this laser approach framework, but also incorporating your weak areas and what you need to focus on your journey to scoring a 175 or above on the official LSAT. So if you'd like my help, you can check out the links below this video to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now, the final phase, R for review, you want to incorporate review throughout your LSAT studying, of course, because you want to figure out what mistakes you personally are making and why, so that you can course correct for the future. The LSAT, of course, is a test of pattern recognition. The same methods of reasoning, the same tricks show up again and again and again. So you want to have a framework, a structure for engaging in this review process. You don't want to just look at the answer key and say, oh, I get it now. How could I have been so dumb? You look at the correct answer, you move on to the next one. Instead, you want to slow down and analyze in depth what mistakes you're making and why. And so I've developed a framework for this called the Socratic review method, The idea here being that you're getting out of your head, you're documenting your review, and you're looking systematically at the stimulus, the question stem, and the answer choices, figuring out what led you astray, what tempted you, what threw you off, so you can avoid making those same mistakes again. And so make sure that you're keeping a mistake log or a wrong answer journal of what you're getting wrong and why, that you're taking fewer exams, not 3 or 4 a week and not on consecutive days. You're slowing it down and looking at every single mistake you're making, every question you're getting right and guessing, but you got lucky and it could have gone the other way. So you can course correct again for the future. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.